I think my mic was muted the whole time. Ooh, ooh. Did I just talk for nothing? Oh man. Wait a second. I'm still fixing the issue with the screen. Still not fixed. Well, I have no idea why this is not. Why this is not working. Okay, somehow I think I got it fixed now. Yeah. So I had to change the priority monitor back and forward, and then it worked again. But let me just quickly. I did talk and nothing got picked up. Sorry about this. Yeah, but now let's quickly go over what I did here today. So this first thing was about a bug, and this bug was because of the keys were in string literals instead of integers. So pretty common bug, I would say that. But this occurred. Let's check it in a commit. So right now I did not commit anything, but I will commit it now. And we will look at it. So MPC forces has a change, but this is nothing much. I just commented out something which didn't have any effect. So we're working with the rigid 3D model. Then here was the bug. You see that the node ID is something from the line from the 8th character, then strip, and no, until the 8th character. So it's the first block. To be honest, this is also not really good, to be honest. Because this is maybe also something with block size and stuff. But yeah, we will leave it for now as it is. But the problem was that the int was missing. So what this node ID really was a string literal. And this string literal what was then being used as a key for the node to forces. The problem was then here later in, I think there was not a test here, but this node to forces is being transferred as a dictionary into the element, the rigid element method sum forces by property. And here I cannot right click, control click, that doesn't work because it's not connected. So rigid element is, wait a second, we will just make that going here. Or is it in data structure? Should be here. Yeah, so it was going through here. And then if the node is not in the node to forces, it's always printed like this. So that means no node could be found. And so the sum of forces was 0 for everything, and this was for sure a bug. Alright, so this is fixed now. So I would say this is a critical bug fix. Integer type for node ID in node to forces, I think. Yeah. Now let's commit that, and then this is out of the way. So basically, why this was not happening to turn out in the test was the test was wrong. So, and this is a quick reminder that you should not give Copilot the scepter of your reign, but check what Copilot is suggesting very carefully. But I think I was maybe a little bit too tired to do this in that occasion. So I missed that. So if you can see that here the integers are now being used, and before there was the string literals, which would be fine if the node to forces was also used as a string to whatever map, but it isn't. So now it's fixed and that's out of the way. The commit also worked, so that means testing, linting, and all those kind of stuff is being checked with the pre-commit hook. So we can also think that this is okay. And now we can turn to the very important thing of today's stream, which is that I would like to do the output file a little bit better. So let me quickly get my GitHub ready. All right, so HyperWorks tools, we have this branch changing the output file to have more relevant data. And let's see at the issue what really is the problem here. So basically, I was complaining about that the output file does not have really much of relevant data. So what I consider relevant here is the number of slate nodes, for example, the reaction on the master node, and maybe the location of the master node. So those kind of things we have to first get and then print. Basically, that's what's gonna happen here. So let's look at the output file that we can get a sense for what we're talking about here. So this is the output file for a model, which is also available here. So this is the simple model, right? You have your constraints on one side, you have your forces on the other side, you have one MPC in the middle, and this MPC is connected to two different parts, and this is why I can also differentiate between those. And now it sums the nodes for one side and for the other side together, and this is what we're getting in the output data. So for property ID 2, I have this reaction force, and for property ID 1, I have this reaction force. Okay, so this is it. Nothing much more than this. And yeah, it's not too good. So basically, let's just start with the number of slave nodes. I would say this could be something like, if I would write it by hand, we could do something like this: number of slave nodes. Whatever, right? Something like this. In order for this to be happening, we can, or we have to change the MPC Tools write summary file. So we have that thing here, and then we have date, whatever, then we have the rigid element, and right below that, we should have something like file.write. Yeah, it's not really nodes, but slave nodes. And here comes the problem. Do we really have a differentiation between that? If we have the master node or not? I think so, because if the RBE is created, we have the slave nodes. So I think the nodes would be that. And so we can do something like this. No? So the rigid element, does this even have... A rigid element should be a MPC, right? So this has a nodes. And nodes is a list. So typing is not good here. Let's change that. So this would be a list. The element ID would be an integer. The DOFs would be an integer. And the property to nodes would be a dict. Right, so we have proper typing. Now basically I'm not sure why the hell I cannot use the length. Am I now missing? Sorry, I'm a bit confused right now. Could be that I'm messing up Java and Python again, but actually, so rigid element.nodes should point us to, what is this actually? This is the rigid element to property to forces. So for rigid element and then property to forces. So this should be a proper element. And why can I not use something like the length of a list? Huh, now it works. I'm not sure. Okay, so we have something like this. And let's just run that and see if it's any good. The output text now has 196 slave nodes. And let's check that with the hyperworks. So if I just check this element here by selecting the element selector and then just right click here and then on edit elements, then it says it has 188 nodes. So that's not so good. So there is some more nodes to it, and we have to find out which one those are, right? That means we do something like, we have that here, we can definitely do something like a print rigid element nodes, so we can see the IDs of it. And maybe we find something which is yeah, which is odd. So let's run it again. So this is it, what we have. And this length of here would be the 196. Now, where does the IDs come from? The IDs come from the input FEM file. So from here, and then there's somewhere there's the grids, and then there's the elements, and somewhere here we have now this thing. So basically it starts with 401 and then goes up to here. Now let's try to count that. We have something like so many full lines. What do we have selected? I would like to have the line selected, not the characters. Yeah, let's try to count that, see what it is. So those are 23 lines. So basically we have 23 times, now we have per line is 2, 4, 6, 8. 23 times 8 minus 1. Why that? Because the 0.0 is no node ID. And then we have another 5, right? So it's 23 times 8 minus 1 plus 5. So I will just calculate that real quick. So that's 188. Why do we then have more than that? So the first node and the last node seem to match. So there could just be duplicates or something like this, right? 196. Let's just make a quickly check here. I will just paste that into a text editor and just count the number of commas. And the number of commas is 195. So basically it's more than that. Interesting. Let's see if we have the right file. Or if we can spot maybe duplicates. I would suppose if it's... Let's see what's the difference. The difference is somewhat 8 more nodes. That does not correlate to the number of lines or something like that, I think. No. So 24 lines doesn't correlate to it. But somehow I have duplicates here. Now I could write a script to do the duplicate check, but I think that's maybe too much. Ah, here we go. You see? Okay, let's try to get that. So 406 is appearing here and it's appearing here. So we have a duplicate. The problem now is, why do we have duplicates? If we just think about the way of how we do stuff like this, we have to go to the model reader. And then there is this get rigid elements, right? Now we have something like this. And let's check our file. The file. Too many things open. No, that's not it. So the input file would be this one. All right. So 406 is appearing here. So this would be the second line. It starts correctly with 401 and then goes up, and also 405, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So until 13 everything is good. But it then goes back to 406, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. And this is the only thing where it does this. So basically there's something wrong with counting the eyes, I think. Let's see about this. So one line is repeated, and that's also correlating to the fact that we have exactly 8 duplicates. And good for us, they are not spread around, they are just being here. So the 406, 7, 8, so this line is being inputted twice. And that's, I think, easy to spot. So in the model reader, where do we have it? Get rigid elements. So basically we have something like this. If something is doing stuff like this, if it's starting with RBE2, if it's starting with RBE3, then there's something to be done. This would be the first line, and this is not our problem. The problem begins here. So here we have line 2 equals the next line. Maybe exactly that is the problem again. Well, basically, let's think about it. So the element keywords are RB2 and RB3. Whenever I have not a line which begins with either one of those, I just continue. So the only thing afterwards is happening if I have an element descriptor at the beginning of the line. So either RBE2 or RBE3. Now I do something here, but this is not a problem. I'm still a little bit confused why this is it done differently. Where does this line content come from? It's with split line, right? And split line, I think this does the stripping. Yes, so there's actually no need for a strip to be happening here. So actually I can just delete all this. Why the hell is the things not working? Yeah. All right, so this makes my life a little bit easier. So now, but the problem is somewhere here. So we have this line. While the line starts with a plus, the line content is being transferred here. Now for j in enumerate line content, if j is 0, I want to continue. Yes, so this is the column. So the 0 column is the plus. Okay, so we don't do that. And then we do the appending thing. So this is getting us the next line, which would be the second line, the one which is duplicated. Now we're doing those kind of things and we're adding everything here. Now I count I plus equals 1. That means we are getting to the next line. Then if I have something like the last line of the file, then I'm breaking. And then I get line 2 equals the next line. So somehow I think it's a little bit confusing, right? Well, I mean, there would be an easy solution, right? The easy solution would be just to check if the ID is already in the array, and if not, then I add it. And if I have this integer already in the array, then I will not add it. But this is very time consuming and I don't like it. So I know there's a flaw here, but I cannot see it right now. So let's dive deeper into it. Maybe also with a debugging statement. I think this would not be the worst solution. Yeah, let's run it and see if we can think of the debug. Okay, so we have this line starts with a plus. We should now be in the second line. So the line content, if I jump over here, the line content should be with the 406. So exactly what is duplicated. Now let's check also the nodes. The nodes should not have the 406 being in there, so that's all good. And I would say we skip until here, because we know what this is being doing, right? So this is appending the line content j, and that should exactly add those node IDs to the array, right? So skip that. Let's check if we were correct. If the nodes have now duplicated IDs, I have to debug it. So this goes from 406, cannot see it. No duplicates, yeah? 406 until 430. Now comes the trick, or the thing, which is, I don't know why it's failing, yeah? So I is plus equals 1, so we're going to the next line. So if I is the length of the file, then we would break, but I think we will not do that. And we step over that, we are getting line 2 again. But in this case, I is equal to I plus 1. Yeah, maybe this is a problem, because we have something like this. We did not do an I plus equals 1, but let's see. So if we go now here, what's the line 2? Is it again with the 406? Yeah, this is the problem. Okay, so the problem was that I have done something like this and not something like this. Now we should not have the duplicates anymore, because the I plus equals 1 says that I'm going to the next line now. And I is saved. Not that I'm looking ahead with the line 2 once. Maybe I just wanted to be smart and save one line, but this was not good here. Okay, we did not catch it, to be honest. It should be said that this is also a failure at testing the code properly, because we did not check, for example, that the node IDs are not a duplicate or something, that a duplicate will not work, right? Not sure still. If I would live now in Java world, I would create a hash set here, and I would choose data structures which just ensure my functionality. And a hash set has a property that there cannot be a duplicate. And an array, a simple array here, has the possibility for duplicates. So this was a problem. And yeah, so this got us good. But I think now it should be working just fine. Now, 406 is here, but it's not here anymore. So I would say that the output text should now have the correct number of slave nodes, 188. So this is good. And also, I would say this is a good lesson to see how to check your code for functionality. You see, I could have just went with it and said, all right, we have something in the slave nodes and that's good for me and okay. No, that's not enough. You really have to check it against your model here and just check it here. And if you don't have the possibility to get something like this, then you have to count it. That's as easy as it is. You have to check that this is correct. Okay, so number of slave nodes is correct. And I would say this is a good output. Maybe also it would be interesting to have something here with the properties, that we have not just property ID 2, but the number of slave nodes associated with it, because then you can check that the balances is working. Also, that this could be an easy check, an internal check that this is working. For example, that you have that the sum of the nodes of the individual properties is equal to the slave nodes, right? So that could be a good test. But yeah, let's do one after the other. Okay, let's maybe close our 100 editors, which we have open now, and go back to the, not the model reader, but the MPC Force tools, and see what we else could add here. So property ID is good. I'm still struggling a little bit if I would like to add the information about the slave nodes here. And there's another thing which is bothering me, is that the property IDs are not in ascending order, but one after the other. So I just decided to use a separate line. So file.write, 2 spaces, slave nodes. Let's use the same terminology. So now we have a big, now we have, with a property ID to forces, but we don't have a property ID to nodes. So this is a design flaw, I would say. So here, still something to do. Length of something with rigid elements, but not nodes. So I would say there should be something like property to nodes, and then property. Something like this should be there. So property to nodes, today it's not there, so let's implement this. So we have a nodes, right? And we should have something like self.property to nodes is a dictionary, which has nothing in it right now. And if we do the summing of the forces, we have this node to force. Here we have it, right? We have property to nodes. I'm so stupid. We have that already. Okay, so we can forget about this. This is already implemented, and it would be good that it would work properly like this. Let's also remove the print nodes, because that was just for debugging purposes. And let's check it. So the test didn't work. Interesting. But problem for later time. The task run. I would wanted to do task run, not task test. There's no output. Okay, yeah. It's just output here. All right, so we have slave nodes here, then property ID 2, and then slave nodes like this. Okay, there's a formatting problem. There should be like 4 indents. Not here, but here. Well, why? The property ID? Yes, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Let's do it again. So we have 94 here, 94 there. Together, those are 188. That's working fine. Now, not bad, not bad. So this is good. Now let's next thing which is bothering me. It's not in order. I don't like it. If you have property 1 and 2, there should be property 1 and then property 2. So it does it now arbitrary here, and I want to have that in sorted fashion. So I cannot do it in this way. So let's do something like this. Keys and sort. Something like this. And now the problem is that I have just something like this. And I have to make another line to get the forces. Okay, let's run it and see if it works. No. Dict keys. Object has no attribute sort. Do I have to do something like a list? What? And the right summary wasn't problem, but before that? Why? The property IDs? Ah, okay. Is that not correct? Syntactically? So this, what does this do? It's a list, right? And I cannot do a sort? I should be able to. Maybe it was just syntactic. No, no, that does not work. Sort the list in ascending order, but property IDs is now none. What? Okay, let's check that again. Yeah, it's none. It's none. Why is it... Okay, what is it if I have just the keys here? Is it not a list? This is a dict keys. Huh. Okay. What is this? This should be the keys, right? Oh. What? Dict items is not subscriptable. What is this now? This is a mapping proxy. Okay, let's try something different. So this is the keys. Keys sorted. Yeah. Is it as simple as that? Then, you know what? Let's do it like this. It's not too complicated syntax. Let's cut that, delete all this, and do it like this. Yeah. Let's see if that works. Yeah, seems to work. Check the output. All right, property 1 and property 2. Very good. Now, the next thing which is bothering me is the position. I don't have any idea about the position of the rigid element, and I think that's not a good thing. I should be able to have a position. This position can be extracted by using the master node. I don't have that right now. It's not good. So I have the element ID. Yeah, that's okay. But let's have something like a self dot. I will call it master node, but I know it should be something different. But I'm struggling, or I'm refraining from calling it independent or dependent, because that has different meanings for RBE2 and RBE3. So I will just call it master and slave. I think that would yeah, it makes more sense to me, to be honest. Yeah, so this would be then the master node, and the master node should come right after the element ID. Now the thing is, we now have to search for where the NPCs are being created, and now we also have to to do the testing later on, but the test fails anyway for now. And yeah, so this is that. But yeah, so the master node should be here. If I'm correct, it would be the 2 as an array index. But let's see. Always good to check that. So in the FEM, so 0, 1, 2. I think this should be the reference node, the master node. Let's check in the MPC forces, because it's somewhere below there. This one, 51059. Is that correct? Yes. So 0, 1, 2. 2 is correct for RBE2. And let's check for RBE3 as well. 0, 1, 2, 3 for RBE3. Okay, that's easy to remember. Okay, now yes. Yes. And now here comes the master node. Like this. Okay. In the search thing, we also have to make sure that we change this thing. The master node is not really having a significance here right now, I think. So we can just have 0 there. Maybe that will become a problem later. But for now, I will just put a 0 everywhere where we have the master node ID, and maybe change that later. Okay, so we have that, and now the question is, I should be able to have something like, yeah, more or less the coordinates. All right, got some crazy comments in here. Not sure what you mean, but if you have something to say, then maybe write English or German. German is also okay. Yeah. So the location. Location is a bit different or a bit tricky. Now also comes the read nodes maybe into place, because right now we don't have any idea about the nodes, right? To be honest, we have to think about this. There should be maybe a method which does fetch the coordinates for the master nodes. If we don't have that, we could do it also differently to read in the nodes all. You know what? I think that's even a better solution. Okay, so a little bit complicated. So we have something like a read lines. We should have something like a how should we do that? It should be a private method, read nodes. And I think we also had something like this, right? This is, yeah, let's see. Do we have something here? No, get rigid elements. No, no, no. But we had something. We had something like this. Maybe it's also a good way of bringing that back. If we check for any commit where we have something, I think where was that? Maybe in this one. It would be some major removal of lines in the model reader. Yeah, here could be that one. Yeah, you see here you have get nodes. I will just bring that back. And so you see now it's also why it's important to have something like Git here, because if you have something which you did do, but you did not have any usage for it at the point in time, but like this you can bring it back. So get nodes. I don't like this. Let's make it a private method and let's call it read nodes. So this method is used to extract the nodes from the FEM file. Yeah, not extract, but read. Because there's also nothing in return, right? There's nothing, this method returns nothing, but maybe it should. It should maybe return something. No, it should not. It should not, because it's a private method, so it's not really that important. Not sure. Not 100% sure. I'm also thinking about maybe we can implement a proper data structure for it. So a data structure would be a node data structure, which is pretty simplistic. It's just a node with an ID and 3 coordinates. Yeah, the more I think about it, I would say it's maybe good to do this. But yeah, you have to be careful not to do one thing and then have to do 100 others. So basically what we would want to have something is, well, let's start simple, right? So in this case, nodes would be appended with a node ID. And also this is complete nonsense. So if it starts with grid, then we can do again the thing with line content, self-split line, because this is referring to the block size, and block size is especially important. It's really important for this kind of thing, because for nodes, if you don't use the fixed or free format, or how they call it, you have the problem that you cannot differentiate between where the coordinate 1 starts and the coordinate 2 finishes, or 2 and 3, you know what I mean. So let's look at a particular FEM file. So those are, yeah, exactly. So this is a typical node, all right? So each line resembles a node. This node has a keyword grid. Then you have the ID of the node. And then you have 2 numbers. Wrong. It's 3 numbers. But the problem is that you really have to see which are the numbers. So basically I would assume that it's also with the grid size 8. With the block size 8. With the standard format. If you have the long format, I would say it's 16 maybe. Or maybe even more. 24. I'm not sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see here the third one is empty. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you see here, exactly here, the next coordinate begins. And it's left aligned. And let's see if that works too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. And then you have the third line. So that's important to notice that you have something like this. Yeah, okay. So the line content is splitted with this method, split line, and the split line has the block size, right? And this is exactly doing something like this and putting that as an array. So we can then go something like this, this, and this. This is correct. So I said the third is empty. So I think it's not correct. Better take care that you check your Copilot. So 0, 1, 2, it starts with 3. Okay, so this is wrong. 3, 4, 5. So this is that, and then the node ID. Yeah, careful. Should be an integer. And this is the first. I think that's correct. So 0 first. That makes sense. Okay. Now we have this node ID and we have the XYZ coordinates. Basically, what we could do is create the information not with dedicated node instances, but we could also have this information as a dictionary. Dictionary means that you have a key and a value. Key would be the node ID, because later on I know I have to access the node ID, or more or less to speak a little bit more precise, I have to access the node coordinates of a particular node. And I know the node by its ID, so that's the name I know it, right? So I call out for the node ID and expect to have the node coordinates back. So I have to figure out a data structure which allows something like this to happen, right? So we have now the self nodes, and I'm not sure if the self.nodes is even used right now. It's a list for right now. I'm not sure because that's a model reader. Not sure if this is used at all. I don't think so. So that's a good thing. Also, let's see about typing here. So this is more a list. No, it's more a dict. And let's call that nodes to coordinates. Nodes to chords. And this is a dict, which is an empty dict, right? Now, if we do the read nodes, we would like to self nodes and then have something like exactly this. So you have this variable here, node to chords. Then you access the node ID. So you're putting a key value pair. So this is the key, this is the value. And the value is an array of 3. You could also argue that maybe it's better to use a tuple here, a tuple. I don't know how it's called, but yeah, I will just leave it now for the array. Not sure if it's better or worse. But right now we have that, and we can then first of all fix our typing. We now can do something like access that. First of all, we have to execute it. So we have this read lines. This is not. Yeah, I don't care about it. So self.read nodes would be something like this. We have to adapt a ton of testing. It's just occurring to me that I'm changing now the whole structure, and this method has to be mocked in every test we did before. And yeah, so testing will be quite some job to do. And before we don't have to test, we cannot commit, right? Okay, but that's fun for another hour. So right now we have this read nodes, and the model reader for this can then access it, right? So if we have our creation of the creation of the MPC forces. Sorry, I'm confused. So this is the FEM file reader or model readers. And this also has this method called getRigidElements, which is executed, I think, well after it, right? So the initialization has been done. So we can access in this method, we can access the node 2 coordinates already. So that means if I have the master nodes, I can do something like this. Master chords. All right. And actually that's independent of having RBE2 or RBE3, so I will put that afterwards. And this is, yeah, this makes sense because it's just occurring once. I'm just very careful with something like this. If it's inside a for loop, I try to limit the number of times it's getting executed, because that all costs time and you have to just make sure you have this once. Now, the MPC. I'm a bit refraining from doing too much of the arguments into the MPC creation. So this master node. I am not sure if I should do it like this. I would rather have it like a dictionary. Does this make sense? Does this work like this? So it's a dictionary with a single item, master node and master chords. If that works, that would be better, I think. So the master node is not an integer, but a dictionary. And this would be that, just to make sure that we have some syntax one could understand. So it's master node 2 chords. Okay, that makes sense. And now coming back to the MPC tools, now we could access that info and write that here. So we have this rigid element, we have the slave nodes, file right, master node, yeah, it's the master node. Actually, this would get a dictionary. Let's maybe do that a little bit more precise. I don't like that. ID. No. I am not sure. I think this does not work right. Huh. Let's try either way. Let's see what this does. Maybe if we have some errors to take care first. So none type. What is this? Split line. So somewhere we have a split line. Let's see where this comes from. No. Do we have to search that for ourselves? So 54. So if the line starts with grid, line content split line, why is that a problem? So it says non-type object cannot be interpreted as integer. Okay, then we have to think about what is this. So we just make something like this, print line, and then we can see. So the line is an empty line. Why? Why is the line an empty line? So it starts with grid, prints the line, then it wants to split the line. The line itself is exactly that. Huh? Block size should be... Oh, the block size is not being set. Yeah, that makes sense in this case, that the block size should be set before anything else. So maybe just after the file path. This is an error. Okay, that is fixed. Now we can also hopefully have that line removed. No? Okay, that's a stupid thing. So node ID. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So it's line content with 1. Okay. Let's make this go away. Okay, and try again. What is this? So is this some sort of E notation, or did it just get it wrong? I think it just did get it wrong, right? Let's see. So the FEM file. So it would be at the top 401. Here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that makes sense. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. What the hell is this? Is it really like that? That this is a 0? Yeah, let's check. Normally I would say, yeah. And then this would be an exponential format. I think so. But that would mean that all of those is 0. But that doesn't make any sense either. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that is exactly right. So I think that this is exactly 0. Now, the problem now is that we have too many grids. We do have too many grids. Okay, let's check that quickly. So if I go back to the model and see about the node 401, so how to do this, we go to nodes, then we say by ID 401. Okay, so where is this node? Oh, sorry, it's too many nodes. Node by ID 401. Yeah, it's exactly at the 0 location. I think, yeah, because yeah, so this is the node, right? Can we something like edit a node or do something like a property? No. Ah, yeah. Well, yes, exactly. So -9. Oh, but actually, that's interesting. It is not 0 here because the way I would have interpreted this mean -9 would be a 0. So -3500 is what I would be getting if I'm interpreting that correctly. Let's see. So that would be topology, and let's just create a point here and then we can see it. Yeah, exactly. Haha, we found a bug. What's the bug? If I double click here and see at this local configuration, it will not, it will tell me that it's to the power of -9. I was not, it's not a bug. All good. Okay. Yes, in this case, we have to do something with our coordinates. And that's not too easy, to be honest. That's not too easy because I cannot for this special case it would be more easy. So Sumit, hi. Yeah, this is data pre-processing, more or less. Maybe I can give a quick run up what we're doing here. So we have a model like this, and this model has an MPC in it. Here. And I would like to have the data of the MPC in terms of the force which is transferred through here. And this is what the MPC Tool's GitHub is doing. Now, why is this not possible to do it with HyperWorks in tools. To my knowledge, it's not possible to have an easy way of summing up all the nodes on one location and then the other. You would have to do a table export and then sum it up with an Excel. So, and if you have 200 screws, which you're modeling with MPC constraints in your model, this will be pretty time consuming. So it's not really pre-processing; it's more post-processing to get the results of screws you would model with rigids, for example. And you would like to see which of the screws takes how much of the load. All right, so this is basically it. Now the problem here is that for this special case, I could come up with something which is pretty easy, because in this case I have something like -9 dot something, and then a -9. So I could search for if there's two minuses in it, then I could replace that with an E minus, and then it would get picked up correctly, I think, from Python, because then it checks that it's exponential format. The problem now is it's not really certain that there's a minus here. If it's plus and then an E minus, you had to recognize that as well. And also I think maybe something like this has to be recognized as well. Not sure if this is a thing, but you have to prepare it for it. So this float line content was, yeah. What exactly is it what it is complaining about? Could not convert string to float. And you have this minus and again minus. Yeah. How do you do that? Yeah, let's just create a method for it. I have now an idea. So basically this would be something which we would hope that this is doing, right? So float would be then self dot something like this. And we can now do our logic in this new method. This new method then does the following. Problem is the exponential notation without the E in it. So there's no E in it, but yeah, we could do something like that. No, that's stupid. So basically we have to see for a plus or minus sign after the dot. So I think that's how it works. Yeah, before dot, after dot. If minus in after dot, I'm very confused if this will work. So before dot, yes, then plus dot, and then after dot, and then not split. No. Replace minus with E minus. And forget about this. But to be honest, let's just check that first. So I would like to have something which is a variable of 1 point whatever, and then, well, let's just make it like this. Float of 1 point whatever, and then E plus 2. That works, right? E minus 2 does work too. problem is that it does not work without the E. So this is why we have to put that with an E in it, right? Okay, so this is that. And then if, same thing with plus. Yeah. And if that's not the case, then we can return the float input. I hope so, because if there's another special case, I would have to take care of it. Alright, let's test that. So get out of here and run the method again. Okay, now we are at the problem where I thought we would be 10 minutes ago. This is because I don't know how this is doing. So keys does not give you a list of keys. Why the hell? Why did I get the first key of the Richard? Yeah. Ah, this is it. Okay, yeah. So master node ID is list rigid blah 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 keys. So the keys is some sort of special variable, and then you convert that to a list, and then you get the first instance. Yeah, I see me doing refactoring of it and introducing proper node classes, I think. But for now, I'm just doing the simplest way of doing it. Okay, let's run it again. Hopefully it now works. It worked. Now, let's see. The output should now contain something with the coordinates. Okay, we have some coordinates. We have the correct master node, and we have the coordinates. That's not bad, not bad. The only thing what's missing here is the node reaction of the master node. That's maybe also something we would like to have. But that's I will save that for later, because for now I don't think we have to have it. Okay, but the coordinates we have to check. So I go here and check if I have, what is this? -50, 0, and 6.7. Let's just input this. So I do a note. So was it -50, 0, and 6? Or what was it? -50.7, 0, and 6.7. Yeah, more than good enough. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, let's do it correctly. 50.733. Was it 064? No, 0064. And then 6.7. Yeah. Huh? I cannot see it, or is it? Let's check it here. -50.77. This should be 0, 006, yeah. And then 6.7. Yeah, I would say this is all right. Yeah, perfect. Now we have coordinates. Not bad, huh? Okay, so we have now coordinates, and we have the slave node ID. So that's all good. So this is not bad. This is not bad at all. I would like to have a line here that's just a thing which is aesthetically more pleasing. So let's add a new line. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Yeah, I would say let's now put that to a hold and do the testing, because the test will fail miserably. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think there's a few things going on here. All right, so first thing which I know about is that we have the problem of the read nodes. So wherever we have something like a mocking of the read lines, we also have to have a mocking of the read nodes. This is just because we have this method executed in the instantiation of the is it the model reader class? Yeah, the FEM file reader class. If you execute this, you execute also the all of that, and you execute the read nodes. And the read nodes go through self.file content. But actually, why is it a problem? It says that non-type is not scriptable, iterable. Where exactly? Ah. Yeah, I think it just has to be patched. So let's do the patching. Basically, it's the same thing as the patching here. It just will get a little bit, yeah, it's not so easy to see. Not split line, why? No, no, no. So it's similar to this one. But instead of having the read lines, we have, I think, the read nodes. Right? Isn't it that? Read nodes, yeah. So we patch that, and then we can have something like a mock read nodes. And we could have something like a mock read nodes return value. But the return value would be a dictionary. I'm not sure why the hell does this think this should be a list. And then there should be something like coordinates. So basically that's it. Let's see if this works. Basically we have to do that for every method where we patch it, or we have a file reader. So if it's not checking here anything, maybe we can also do something like a none here. But patching has to be done anyway. And see that I'm careful of doing it after the initial method, because the order in which you do the stuff here means something, right? So this is the first one, and this is the second one. So this is that mock read nodes. Why isn't it picking that up? Maybe because of syntax errors here. No, mock read nodes, and that should be it. Ah, cannot type anymore. Mock with a K, not an H, and not an X. Okay, let's do the task test. I'm pretty sure it will fail anyway. Well, it didn't. Haha, interesting. So this test now, the third test, did not fail anymore. Okay. But it still does a problem here. Okay. So 52, there's a type error in file content. Non-type object not iterable. So file content is none. Ah, okay, none is not an option anymore. Yeah, that's maybe not the best thing to do it. So, Now what? We change that. We change that to an empty list. An empty list would mean it's not none, and it could iterate over it. Doesn't tell you anything about it if it's working or not, but it's not the problem with the iterable, I think. So it still has a problem. So what is this? Where does this come from? So model readers.py, but where does this come from? Test model readers in line 10. Yeah. None is not an option anymore. Okay. Here we have a key error, and that's more like it. That's more like it. So here in exactly that test, we should maybe test also the functionality uh of the sorry, I lost it. Of the read notes functionality. Yeah, but more than that. It's not read notes functionality, but more or less the MPC master node and coordinates assignment and stuff like that. So this is exactly where we want to test this. So, and where is this exactly? So it's the mock with the H. Let's see, where is this? Okay. So here we have something, right? With a 1 and with a 2. And is there something like an MPC forces check? No, not that I'm aware of. This is read lines returning. And where does it have a problem? In the get rigid elements. Yeah, because the rigid element has a node which is not there in the nodes. Yeah, that's a little bit confusing, to be honest. So you see here the node 2 is requested, so and the return value also is there, but we have to specifically have the nodes to be set to this return value. And I'm not sure why, to be honest, because if you're having done the mock correctly, execution of this method would return the value it should return, right? So this is maybe a question I would have to ask. So let's see if it works now, because there's a 2 here. We still have a key error. And this master node, master cards. Okay, let's see where this comes from. Is this really that? So model reader 96, that doesn't help us. It's still this method. Can we? No, we cannot. We cannot debug. That's still also a little bit of a shame that I still don't know how to do this. I can only do the main method, and this is not so good. So somewhere this is a problem. So they get rigid elements. So what this is doing, it's an RBE2, then we have 0. This should be the element ID, this is the node ID. So the node ID should be there, and it's not there. Okay, I see what the problem is. Oh. This is the problem. So we would have to have a node, which is node 2. And then let's maybe just do something like this. Hopefully this works. Should be same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Like this. Because then this is correct. Could now get a little bit spooky here and test also Is it really that? Sorry, I have to check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's like this. What? Because we can check that too, right? But on the other hand, no, we cannot, because we are doing, we are assigning the return values to it. So it's a little bit not that of a great thing, but yeah, I don't know. Let's maybe do the master node check. Self assert. Cool. Yeah, is that correct? So the rigid element 0, the master node should be a dictionary. Yes, exactly. That's what it should do. Okay, let's see. Still the key error. Man, why? Master cards equals self node to cards master node. Is it something different? The master card didn't work. So, but it would have the ID2. The ID2 would be something in the grid which is there. So I'm not sure why this is not working. So basically what I'm doing now is printing the master node so that we see what this is. If this is working. If I remember correctly, the console did not work there at all. Captured standard outcome. So this is a good thing. I did not forget about the integer conversion. That's also a good thing. And maybe let's also print, in this case, the self.nodes to chords. Because that should definitely have... sorry, wrong button. That should have the 2 in it, but it hasn't. It's an empty dict. Okay, so the node to chords is our problem. This node to chords is given node to chords. I did not assign it correctly. There's no nodes anymore. Node to chords. Nodes to chords. There's no nodes in it, right? There's no nodes anymore. Let's see if I'm sure here. Yeah, what the hell? No, no, no. Well, but no. To be honest, this is okay. This is not something with self nodes. That's okay. Yeah, okay. All right, let's test it again. That's a good thing now. Should not have a key error here. It has an index error. Interesting. List index out of range. Line 2 equals... Yeah, I know. That for sure is the new line character. Yeah. Let's just empty it. Let's just add another new line. All right. Okay. So it may be not be totally syntactically checking anything which we wanted, but the tests are now working again, and that's, for me, that's good. That's good enough for today. Now let's do the linting. I think I may have to do some linting because there has been code added to it, and you see, yeah. Built-in input. So input is somewhere here already set. So let's do it as an input string. Oh, let's chord string. That's definitely not something which we have already. Okay, we have that. And here, okay, we have now the master node. Yeah. Yeah, it's correct. So I'm not making sure that I did not have something which occurs here. Yeah, linting is correct. I will put that. Also, if it's duplicate code now, I will just paste that here again. Yeah. And if it's now complaining about duplicate code, I will shut down the PC and go to bed. It still has the... Ah. And another thing, okay. Okay, I refrain from doing that. What was the problem with having it here? Because I'm using that. How can I do that? The duplicate code thing worked, but it works not for something like here. Yeah, let's make it different. This master node should appear only... Nah, that's not a... Nah, it's not a good thing. We could do something like this. Master node equals 0. Or none. None is okay. Because I'm not returning. If I have something like this, I'm staying here until this is being executed. Yeah? I hope this is okay. And if it's none, then it would fail, hopefully. Yeah. But let's make it sure. Let's make sure that we have that. If that is not none, then we have that, and else we give a warning. Something like this. Okay, that's good practice. Alright, I think we now have something which we can commit. Changes, output. So let's commit that. And then maybe change the input file and see if it works also with multiple widgets. Because that now was the simplest way of having a model. And it fails. Why does it fail? Why does it fail? So testing, right? Testing fails. So somehow we did screw up. What? MPC object has no attribute master node. What? Where's this? It has no attribute master node. So the widget elements, if that's none, then I would say that's correct. But if it's something... Huh? It has no attribute master node. But this... If this is, then we print that, but then we will just apply master node, an empty dict. I think that's reasonable. But still fails. It still fails. It's an empty dict. But why is it an empty dict here? Why the hell is this an empty dict? There's this RBE2. It has a 2. The grids has also a 2. So somehow this none stuff we have been implementing here made more problems, I think, that it solved. Not so sure if this none thing was a good idea. So master node is none. Only if I have a RBE2 or RBE3 in it, then it will be something. Right? Yeah, okay, let's print here the master node and master chords and do the task test again, and then there should be something wrong. There should be something like a none here. Master, yeah, it is none. But here it was something. Huh? So this print thing here, I think, is this one. Right? Yes, this is definitely that one. And then it does something like this. MPC, whatever. And then the question is if this is correct. If master... if that is not none, then yes. Okay. Stupid. Okay. That's done. But you see, it's always important to have something like this. Hey, Kagatai, Kula Kak. Sorry if I butchered the name. Hello, welcome. Yeah, so you see, that's always important to have something like a catching thing before committing, because I was pretty sure that it was correct, but it did a small mistake before committing the code, and the pre-commit catch that. And yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, let's commit it here now finally, and then see what we have done. So to anyone listening or watching here, if you have any questions regarding Python, regarding Hypermesh, Hyperworks, you could ask them straight away. So I will not be online for too much longer, so I will just maybe do this this pull request and call it a day. But if there's anything bothering your mind, then you just I'm very welcome. You are very welcome to just speak your mind in your chat. All right. So having done this, we can now look at the pull request. There is none, so let's create one. We have not a branch with the basic implementation. Let's do it ourselves again. Let's do that as an enhancement, and I think we can call it something like this. Close as 13, changing the output to have more relevant data. Create pull request. And then let's see at the file changed if that's something we would agree of doing. So basically what I'm now doing is scanning through the files and see if that makes sense or not. So basically first thing is widgets. We changed the init method to have something like a master node ID. This master node to cards is dictionary. Okay, that's all right. I think certain elements are the same, but this thing changed. I think this is okay. We can do check feud. Now we have the test widget. So this is adaptation of a test method. I have something like an master node ID, which I'm not using in this test method. So I would say this is also okay. Then we have the MPC tools, which is our main method. And there we have some adaptations on the writing summary. So thing here was to change that it is in order, right? So it's not, it's not, there should be something for sorted. So this is removed for property ID forces and property to forces items. And it is now for property ID inserted property to forces keys. That's possible. Yeah. I just think about why we had list, but this was just if we have to get the first key or something like that, we would have to have a list. Okay, but the sorted works with dictionary keys too. Good. Now we have added like master node ID, master node cards. We have checked that, that's okay. We have added also the slave nodes. And this will also be the summary for so what we have done here. Then we have changed something here, but I think this is nothing of importance because that just commented out another model, which we did not use anyway because we have something like this here. And we always use the 3D rigid model. Okay, so I would say this can be checked off as viewed. Then we have the model reader, and this is the main class. So we added a dictionary from the typing because we used that. We changed the list to be a dictionary and the nodes to be nodes to cards. Okay, that's good. Block size was moved up because we have to have that before reading the lines or before reading the notes. Definitely have to have it before anything of those, right? Then the read lines. What is this? Not sure why is this there. Okay, then the read notes was being added back. Then we have another method to parse the exponential format. I think that worked fine. But to be honest, we did not check this, right? We did not check it. So that's maybe to do. It did not complain, but we don't know if it worked. Or did we? We checked it for the master node, but I'm not sure if the master node had the exponential. But anyway, I will keep that as it is. That's okay for now. I think it's not a problem. Then split lines with the master node none, which we added. Then we have this as an integer ID. That makes sense. Then we remove the strip here because that's being done by the line content creation or the line content with the split line method. So that was just a little bit of cleaning up. And then we had something with the I equals plus equals 1 because the problem was that we have the second line as a duplicated content. So we fixed that as well. Now, then we changed the MPC constructor here to also include the master node and master coordinates. So that's also good. Okay, I would say I can check that off. Here, that was a bug which was fixed, that the node ID is an integer, not a string literal. That's also good. Now, then we have test adaptions, and this is just basically the mocking and test adaptions. So I think that's also fine. And then we have another test adaptions where we changed it back from string literal to integer values, which resembles the bug we fixed. All right. Yeah. You know, this is just doing casual stuff here. It's not that sincere. So this is being done. I would say this looks good to me. I can approve this thing here. Yay, whatever, and then merge the pull request, confirm merge. Then delete the source branch or the branch for the issue, and we can check off another issue. Yay! All right. I think now we can make before I close off the stream. We can make a final check or final adaptation. Let's check out the development branch again, which is the main branch, and sync to change. And we can see what we also did here. The git graph shows us that in a nice way. So this was this one. Let's also prune. Yes. And now we're here, back here. And what I would like to check now is, I think there was somewhere where I have more than one. Yeah, this one. I think I also have that already. This is, no, I don't have it. What was it called? The Rigid 2. Just copy the name. And let's try and work with that one. I will not check it sincerely, but check it if it runs through. Yeah, so here we have still the issues, and there's some print thing here, which is, I don't think it's necessary. So if I'm correctly, that was in the model readers. This is exactly that. So we can just make a small commit, remove debug print. But let's see if I have something else to do. Task run. Okay. So still what we have here is the node whatever not found in the MPC forces file. And just to be sure, I want to check that. So we are now using this model here. If we search for this node, it's definitely there on quad elements. No, too fast. So 4,193. Yeah. So this is, okay, this is existing. Now let's see if this is also here as a slave node with the RB2. Yes. And now if it's also in the MPC forces, then I have a problem. And if it's not there, then I don't have a problem. It's not there. So this is really a bug. The bug meaning that it will not get you all of the data. So if we would have the grid point forces, we could check this node, but it's not for us to do. So that's why this output is perfectly fine. Okay, now let's see the output. Okay, I absolutely need a new line after each rigid element. I would need a new line. So I will change the summary, write summary thing. I'm in the wrong tool, MPC Tools. So after each of the rigid elements, this is here. So after that, we get a new line. So let's run it again. And I think at some point we also have to transfer this to an, how is it called? A YAML file. So something which is more structured, or a JSON file, but not this unstructured text data, I think. But for now, it's okay. So we have a first rigid element, we have a first master node ID, we have the coordinates. So -50, -87. So it makes sense, the coordinates, I would say. And then we have the forces, right? And they are balanced. That's also maybe something which we could do as a sum of forces, just to make sure that it's converged. Then also, I think we could also make some number format things here. All right, so like 3 decimal places and stuff like that. Yeah, come on. Okay, so first of all, let's commit what we already had. So the MPC tools, this is just pretty print. Remove debug print and make output more pretty. But if that's the case, we can definitely do also a little bit more. Actually, I should go to bed, but there is this, I think, there's this string format. I'm always confusing. But let's use GitHub. Write force with 3 decimal places. Yeah. This works. Let's see. Because I'm mixing always Python and Java here. Yeah, so this kind of worked. Yeah. Then let's also make the same assumption for... Let's make the same assumption for the nodes, the coordinates. uh, Uh-huh. That does not work. Okay, let's not do it. The coordinates, I would say it's all right if you have that in full. Okay, let's test it again. Okay, that worked. Am I content with it? More or less, I would say so. Yeah, and it seems also that it works quite well with the nodes, number of slave nodes and stuff like that. There could be a summary for all widgets, like something like that, but basically that's it, right? So this is the result of the couple of hours of coding. So we have now a tool which can get us, I would say it's not really depending on the size of the model, it cannot get us for every MPC, but what we have in the hypermesh model, it can get us the data in a text format, and we have that now, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. The only thing what I say is maybe not so great is the way we handle the thing with why is this still there? The thing with the properties. This is still not so great, I would say. All right, let's commit it and call it a day. So the only thing I really don't like is the way we do that with the properties. Right now we have something like an arbitrary constraint on our model, which says that we have to have different properties for our different parts. And that's problematic because normally those two could have the same property and be in different components. And what do we do about something which has the same component but different locations, right? So there are millions of questions how to tackle this, and there's a bunch of solutions how we could do this. I will think about it some more, how to do it. Maybe also with a user set, that could also be something, but it's desperate to be honest. If you have to ask the user, that's just you saying that you cannot figure it out automatically. And I refrain from calling it right now that we have to have user input. But if you want to have it calculated automatically, there's two ways. Either you have a tight core set, like something which really constrains the user. That's maybe not such a good thing. Or you have some intelligent, excuse me, intelligent algorithms which just can separate, for example, those two sections. A clustering approach is pretty typical for some problems like these. But you cannot always say that this is the case, that they have a distance like this or so. So there has to be something more intelligent. For example, could be that you say that you would like to take all the slave nodes and then divide it into groups where every node is reached by every other node over elements which is not the RBE element. That could be really it. If you just think about it. Any point here which can be reached over an element and not having to make a jump via the master node is one group. So even if those two properties, those two parts would be in the same component, same property, same everything, yeah, just think about it, that those would have the exact same color, right? So if that would be the case, just the rigid here is different. You could have those groups separated by just making a structure where you say by attached, but just over 3D elements. There's a pretty simple way of doing that if you have the data structure. I'm not remembering quite well how this is, but basically if you have all the elements and all the nodes, you could just start from one node and just bisect this into two groups by growing. Because if you just start with one node, go to the element, add all the nodes, add all the elements which have those nodes, add all the elements which have those nodes. So this is typically the bi-attached. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. So if you just choose, for example, an element, like so, and then you say select by attached. Yeah, shit. The problem is that element here also counts. But think just that we would not have this for a moment. Because we can for sure exclude this element from it. If you do something now, select by attached, this is exactly what it is doing. And this is how you could remove, this is how you could do that pretty easily. It has some computational effort, but it's not that much. But I have to think about this. I think this is maybe the easiest one. Then we can strip away any constraints on the property whatsoever and can apply it to all the models there are. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I will call it a day. It's been 2 hours already. Thank you for being here, for contributing, for watching, for listening. If you have any questions or so, just leave them in a comment. And yeah, I hope to do much more on this MPC tools thing, because I think it's pretty fun, good exercise. But we will also cover different topics in the future. I recently had contact with one of you over LinkedIn about some request about TCL scripting, which we could do something with user input, and yeah, so we can do something like this too in the future. Let's see about it. But for now, I will call it a day. And yeah, thank you for being here. And yeah, see you soon. Have a good day, have a good night, and see you later, guys. Bye.